Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to Your Life is Non-Negotiable podcast. This is a podcast where we help women make their health non-negotiable after they have been neglecting their bodies while caring for the people that they love. And all of a sudden, you kind of tune in, you wake up, and you're like, you know what? I don't feel like myself anymore. I am totally losing energy. I am demotivated. I am tired all the time. I'm not eating well. I don't feel good in my skin. I don't even recognize myself anymore. And I miss all the great habits that I used to have. I tried every fitness plan, nutrition plan in the book, and nothing seems to work long term. So that's what we do here in this podcast is we help women create a new identity. We help women do a total mindset shift. And at some point, we have to recognize that these habits that have been pulling us down for years have to change. Once and for all, those habits have to change. Otherwise, we're going to just keep repeating them again and again and again. So yes, you can follow a plan for a short term, but unless you completely do a mindset shift, you completely change your habits, you're less likely to do a complete life turnaround. So in my 6-week transformation program, that's exactly what we do. And in our podcast here, I am looking at helping you to achieve those goals. So over these last 30 days, we've been doing a 30-day challenge, do this, not that challenge, because we want to help you make some of these daily shifts, these little tiny things in our routines that have been pulling us down. Today, we are talking about replacing books the other way around. We want to replace TV with books, right? Stop watching TV. Oh my gosh, okay, first let's get started into this. All of the gurus, if you're out there and you're following and tracking some of the most successful people in the world, they're going to tell you, first of all, they don't have time for TV, like at all, right? Like TV is not part of their agenda. For some people, they need to be in touch with the news and with social events and so on. So they'll spend a minimal amount of time just kind of being caught up on what's going on out there. But spending too much time focusing on the news and what's going on in your local community can sometimes have a very negative effect. And at the end of the day, is it really going to serve you? Are you going to feel empowered? How does this change your day? So I stopped worrying about watching the news and being in current with the times a long time ago. I decided a long time ago that my superpower was in helping women transform their lives. And therefore, every little spare ounce of energy that I had outside of other events like taking care of my son and having a relationship and building my business and operating and doing these podcasts, they had to be spent educating myself. So every time when I'm driving, vacuuming, or running on a treadmill, I am listening to good quality content that's going to educate myself. We're going to talk a little bit today about some of the downfalls of television and why you really want to rethink when exactly am I going to watch TV? How much TV do I want to watch a week? What am I, quote, allowed to do? So if you think about, well, look, on Friday nights, that's really the night I have to crash. I love sitting down to a good movie on a Friday night. Great, no problem. That's a great stress release. You can disconnect on a Friday night after a week worth of work, and it's a nice reward. But if it's an every night thing, are you using that time productively? And as you'll learn in my course, we talk in great detail about the blue light and how this is going to dramatically disrupt your sleep. And being able to disconnect from digital, doing that digital detox as of 7 o'clock at night. We are so addicted to our technologies. So I know there's a bunch of eyes rolling right now going, are you crazy? There's no way I'm getting off social media or I'm disconnecting from digital before 7 o'clock. That's like, I'm often watching TV until 11, 12 o'clock at night, right? You may find your whole life will switch and turn all around if you change that one major habit. It's a big one, right? First of all, when we're sitting down, we're more likely to start eating mindlessly and eating junk. Sitting, right? We're just sitting. Nothing real, no real body movement is happening here. What are the stress relieving activities that we could be doing during this time? Can we relax in a bath? Do you have a hot tub, or can you take a hot shower? Could you be listening to music? Could you be breathing in essential oils? What are the relaxation things that you could be doing? If you've got a full house full of family, is there a place in your house where you can just disconnect for an hour or two that's away from the television, right? What are the hacks that you can do that gets you outside of brainlessly thinking, oh, this XYZ TV program is going to help me to disconnect from the world? There are other ways of doing it, and one that's not going to disrupt your sleep. So why are books superior to television, and how do they affect our brains? Studies are going to show that long-term effects of watching TV can actually lower your verbal test results and increases aggression. This was a study done with about 600 children, and they learned that over time, the more that kids watch TV, the more they got aggressive, and they had a lower attention span, and they focused less. So these studies also show that reading keeps your mind alert and delays cognitive decline in elders. Research even found that Alzheimer's is 2.5 times less likely to appear in elderly people who read regularly, while TV was presented as a risk factor. 6 minutes of reading can reduce stress levels by 68%, according to the researchers at the University of Sussex. So actually, reading also beat out other kind of relaxing activities, such as listening to music, drinking tea or coffee, or taking a walk. Another important thing to consider is they did another test with mothers and their kids. And that test boils down to the fact that when mothers were watching educational programs with their kids, they were less likely to be interactive with their kids or to take time to explain things in more detail, versus when mothers were reading educational information to their kids. They would connect more, touch more, look more into each other's eyes, and explain and teach more. So this you can automatically see right then and there. There is so much more connectivity when we're interacting with our kids with books instead of television. Television is designed to be passive. So you're kind of like switching in between shows, and you're not really exerting all that much effort, and you're kind of, not really taking the time to pause and reflect and really think about what you're watching. You're just kind of zoning out. Versus when you're listening to a book or reading a book, you have to close your eyes and imagine. Maybe if it's an educational book, are you imagining that person speaking to you? Or are you picturing in detail what they're describing in the book? It takes more imagination, more creativity, more focus on your part to be able to be sitting down and giving your full attention to reading. The other thing is that when you're watching TV, you also might be multitasking at the same time. Maybe you're folding laundry, or you're doing some other things, you're cooking in the kitchen. Well, you're not fully focused on either, right? When you're focused on your recipe, you're not watching watching the television. When watching TV, you might be burning your buns in the oven, right? These are things where when you sit down and you read a book, you have to be focused on reading the book. You can't really multitask and read at the same time. So you want to be able to strengthen that creativity and that imagination, okay? So these are things that are really important. It's also going to help you to develop your verbal abilities. So for example, TV is designed to be very quick, short sentences. They want to keep your attention at all times. So they're very often flashing between different scenes or screens because they know that they are going to start losing your attention, right? But when you sit and read, they can be more creative with their words, expanding on your vocabulary. They can be more descriptive in what they're describing. And the more descriptive they are when writing a book, you then have to really visualize and picture. The more detail that they give you, the more your brain starts to conjugate these images in your head. All of this makes a lot of sense, right? I'm sure that you can agree that there's so much more benefits to taking the time to either improve memory, improve your verbal skills, increase your imagination, and basically widen the depth of you. And we all know that we all have such limited time. When you wake up in the morning, you're busy with the kids, getting everybody ready for school, off you go to work, you're at work, and when you come home, I get it, you're like super tired. You're just like, I can't do anything. I'm just so tired. I can't think of anything. I just want to zone out in front of the TV. You might even decide at this time to have a glass of wine. All of these habits are going to disrupt your sleep. That blue light before, or I should say after 7 p.m. is going to decrease your production of melatonin. It will increase your cortisol levels. This is going to it's going to rob you of good quality sleep. Even if you're someone who sleeps right through the night and you're like, I don't wake up at night, I sleep just fine. You don't quite understand the depth of what you're missing in the quality of sleep, because you're not really feeling and sensing those hormones in action in your body as you're going through the night. So keep in mind that when you are taking that bath, you're breathing those essential oils, you're listening to music, or maybe that is the time when you're going to read your book while sitting in the bath. You are tapping into that parasympathetic nervous system. You are calming down. You're increase the quality of your life. And with that, guys, I'm going to conclude on that note. I do hope that you do take 1 or 2 nights out of the week, take TV out of the equation, replace it with a good book, replace it with a walk, with a nice bath, something much different than sitting on the couch, watching TV, drinking some wine, and eating some foods you shouldn't be eating. You have been listening to Your Life is Non-Negotiable podcast. This is a podcast where we help enrich your life. We help you to transform your life. We want to help you make your health non-negotiable, no matter how much life gets in the way. And with that, everybody, I do invite you to go and check out my website at yourhealthisnonnegotiable.com, where you can enjoy a 6-week challenge where we focus on functional medicine strategies, online fitness, helping you to achieve your goals faster. Have yourselves an amazing day, and we'll chat with you soon. Bye, guys.